Just wait a second. Why are we doing this again?
I don't know. Because I saw it on TV.
Oh, okay.
Hello, wonderful people. I'm Alifia Hussein, and you're listening to Because I Saw It on TV, where we talk about things that people do just because they've continuously seen it in the media. This can range from things like lame dance moves to naturalized discrimination of all sorts. In today's case, Islamophobia. More specifically, in Toronto, and even more specifically, how the portrayals of Muslim people in the media has affected the lives of young hijabi women in Toronto today. But first, let's find out what Ryerson students have to say about the prevalence of Islamophobia in Toronto. I'm here on Ryerson campus to ask some students their opinions on Islam and, more importantly, Islamophobia. So my question for you is, do you think Islamophobia is an issue in a city like Toronto? Why or why not?
I feel like it's not a problem because it's like multicultural.
I'm sure it is, and I'm not aware of it. And it's not something I immediately notice, which I think is also probably part of the problem.
I don't think it's that big of an issue here. It's maybe other places, yeah, but not here.
Of course, like I've seen people like get up beside women wearing hijabs and like move to other seats and like no one would sit beside her, stuff like that, and it's like disgusting.
Yes, it is. It's an issue everywhere, even though Toronto is very diverse, but I think it is underlying, and people that come to Toronto from other cities sometimes aren't exposed to a huge number of Muslims that are here. So it is very real here, and it's very underlying. Once we were in Waterfront and people shouted into our car that, oh, are you going to blow this up too? So, you know.
Actually, last week, a guy came up to me and he said, eat my shit. He actually said that, and it's horrible. I didn't understand why he said that to me directly because there were so many people around me. But like, I kind of figured out it was because I wear a hijab. But other than that, like the city's great, everyone's really nice, except like crazy people.
You can't say that it's not here. It is here, and I've seen it firsthand.
One more question for you is, because of the hate that Muslim people are receiving in the media, what is something that you would say to them?
There's just normal people, so I would tell them to keep their head up and be as unapologetically Muslim as they can be, because there's nothing to apologize. This is your religion, and it's just as Christianity and Jewish people, you're a Muslim, and you should be proud of that.
Okay, so we got a wide range of answers. Some people were positive that Islamophobia doesn't exist. Some were unsure. And some people have recently experienced or seen Islamophobic acts right here in our city. And it's weird because out of my random selection of people, out of all the hijabi women at Ryerson, the two I chose had experiences to share. And to think that one of those girls was so deeply impacted by the hateful words that it brought her to tears was so devastating to see. But before we discuss this issue further, I did an interview with a hijabi fashion icon, Huda Dula. Let's hear what she has to say about wearing a hijab. Next up, I have an interview with Toronto-based YouTube fashion guru Huda Dula. Her and her partner Halima Mustafa launched a YouTube channel called Young Samosas, where they showcase styles centered around the hijab, giving inspiration to Muslim women and at the same time demonstrating that the hijab is indeed fashionable. Hi Huda, thanks for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So, you guys are called hijabistas or hijabistas. Can we get a quick definition of what that means?
Yeah, for sure. Hijabista basically combines the two words, hijabi and fashionista. Personally, I don't really like the word. I think it's too corny, but it's out there.
So, why did you guys create your channel?
So, growing up, incorporating hijab with modesty fashion it wasn't that easy. I mean, we didn't have any YouTubers to look up to, so we're trying to just relate to all the young Muslim women out there who don't have anyone to turn to, you know, find inspiration or stuff like that.
Okay, so what is like a brand or representation you guys are trying to put out there? Or like, is there any impact that you want to have in society, you know?
Well, me and Halima, basically, our main audience is young Muslim women. Or not, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Muslim women, just like women who want to dress modestly. So I know it's kind of weird, but like, we don't want to put ourselves out there that we have to prove we're like everyone else. We get that a lot. I have a septum piercing. People are like, are you trying to prove you're cool? I'm like, I just like septum piercings. Like, It's weird. So we want to show other young women that it is possible to live in the city, to live with a lot of different people, and to be yourself without having to worry about what's going to come your way. Because a lot of things do happen. Last week I had a white man in a big van scream at me because I was wearing a hijab. I didn't even listen to what he was saying because I was late somewhere, so I was running, but it had bad words in it. And we do face these on a daily basis. So we're just kind of trying to empower young women to not pay attention to the negative, but to look towards the positive stuff.
Yeah, just like live as you. You're not proving anything. I love that so much. I never thought of it like that, honestly.
It's not always easy though, especially if you're new hijabi. You know, I have friends who just started wearing the hijab and they're like in their 20s. You know, they didn't grow up with it. So for them, it's a lot more difficult because they never had, you know, these comments made at them, looks given or anything like that. So yeah.
When you're wearing a hijab, do you ever feel the need to prove yourself as like more human in a sense, or like just more relatable? Like
no, I used to, not anymore though. Like I'm very happy with where I am, who I am.
So for me, I honestly love what both of you do. It's fantastic. I think it is super empowering, and it's so just like powerful to show that, you know, there's not one representation of what it means to be hijabi. Like you guys are challenging that notion, and it's just liberating to see this kind of stuff out there in the media because it's just not there. I really appreciate what you guys do, and I thank you for being here with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so at this point, you might be wondering why this podcast is called Because I Saw It on TV. I keep talking about Islamophobia and hijabi women. Well, you might remember from like 2 minutes ago, my guest Huda said her friends that were new hijabis haven't become used to wearing the headscarf yet because they haven't gotten used to the stares and the comments. And she told me the process was definitely a difficult journey. And this is the exact problem I'm trying to shed light on, that these women simply have to get used to the discrimination. Like it's just a mere side effect that comes with wearing a hijab. And yeah, maybe it's true that this issue isn't as bad in Toronto as it might be in other places, but it's still here. So why is that? Well, in my opinion, the media gets all the credit for this one. And I know I sound like one of those crazy people that's always freaking out about how technology is taking over the world or something, but we are constantly being fed these stereotypes and oversimplifications of problems. And specifically with regards to Muslim and Middle Eastern people, they are being so misrepresented and dehumanized in the media right now more than ever. They are being used as bait to create fear in people, creating that us versus them environment that has always proven to be harmful. But not only that, just the other day my parents were watching a movie. I came down and asked them what was happening, and my mom said, "Oh, the Americans are fighting against the terrorists." And I asked her, "Which Islamic country is it this time?" And she said, "Pakistan." And it just bothered me so much that terrorist and Muslim were so naturally synonymous with each other. And this movie was so ridiculous because these terrorists were actually getting back at the American people because they had killed the terrorist guy's daughter and hundreds of other innocent people in an attempt to kill them. But the Americans weren't shown in a bad light. They weren't made to seem as though they had done something wrong because the collateral damage was just a result of them trying to get rid of the terrorists. And so no one feels sorry for the innocent people that were killed because it was done for the greater good. And in general, these people are so dehumanized and made to seem so evil that we simply can't feel sympathy for them. And these media representations honestly do desensitize us. And so it almost makes sense when they get discriminated. This movie was made in 2016, but these stereotypes of Muslims being ruthless killers, evil sheikhs, and oppressors of women have been in Hollywood since silent films. There's this documentary by Dr. Jack Shaheen called Real Bad Arabs. That's REEL. And he goes through the history of film for the past century and shows how Middle Eastern people have been degraded and how they've been dehumanized and how the persistence of those images has naturalized prejudiced attitudes towards them. And these hijabi women in Toronto face that on a daily basis. It is their reality. I really recommend watching this documentary because you'll actually be surprised to see some of your favorite action movies on there. Because it shows how these misrepresentations have become such a natural part of our daily lives. So natural that even my Muslim family says, of course the terrorists are Muslim. And on that wonderful note, thank you for listening to Because I Saw It on TV.